What if I told you there's only one step standing between you and the customer who actually buys? Not likes, not followers, not comments, but pure buyers. If selling feels very hard, it's because we usually skip this one step that makes sales very easy, right? I have 5 steps that I want to run through, a step-by-step, how to approach selling, especially when you're starting a business, a creative art business, and what's going to make you stay in business. Now, my game is not about just starting a business. It's about how to stay in business. If we never met, my name is Haas. This is my living room studio. I've been running business here for 9 years. I've been fortunate enough to collaborate with businesses with brands like Pepsi, MasterCard, HBO, Facebook, Uber, and many more. I've been in magazines such as Forbes magazine. I've been in Bon Appetit magazine, Food and Wine magazine as well, and many more, many local magazines as well. I just want to bring you closer to not just how to start a business, but how to stay in business. So usually creative artists start a business and we're so excited and so hyped to get into these businesses. But then once we get into the businesses, now we don't know how to stay in business. And not knowing how to stay in business is really usually not our fault or not your fault, but it's just that it's a certain information and certain approaches and certain actions, practical actions that we have to take consistently that is going to help the business stay in business. Now, if you're not aware of it, or if you haven't processed that, you're going to be trying to keep your business going the wrong way. And if you ask me, how did I stay in business for 9 years? And it wasn't easy. But once try and error, I was able to figure out this way actually help my business stays in business. I went all in. I put my 100% focus on there and stick to it. And as a result, 9 years in, that approach, that step, this one step that I've been talking about has been able to keep me in business, and I've been able to use that to escalate, to reach all these other platforms. Now my website is good, my social media is good, and my email list is good, and I'm still doing that practical one step that if you're not lucky, if you miss that, your business might not succeed. So let's go over. Now, step 1 is sales. Every business needs sales. You need sales to stay in business, right? Stay in business is all about having sales, having money coming in. If there's no sales coming in, you might struggle to stay in business. So let's focus on staying in business right now. Excuse me. Most of the time, you don't fail because you lack of talent, not because you're not creative enough, you're not artistic, you're not an amazing designer, or you're not that amazing of a maker or creator. Not that. It's lack of sales. Businesses fail, especially small businesses like creative, small businesses like us. We usually fail because there's no sales coming in. We launched the business. People know that we have started our business and we're in business, but there's no money coming in. There's no sales coming in. It's because it's amazing and it's excited to start a business. But then how do we keep the business in business? So that becomes a problem. So here's the thing. It's like a starving artist versus thriving artist. What is the difference? Why both artists, two artists, both creative, both talented, but one is in business, is thriving, and the other's business is failing? Why? Because sales is actually surviving. If in order for you to survive in business, you need sales. Sales need to come in for the business to survive. If sales don't come in, then the chances of that business surviving is going to be hard. So now usually what we do is we launch the business, we put it up, we have a fancy website, we have an incredible, beautiful, curated Instagram, we have TikToks, we have the Facebooks and all this, you name them. Then after that, we're sitting down waiting for the sales to come in. We're sitting down waiting for the sales to come in. And sometimes we get these likes and we get some comments and we get some views and that gives us a lot of excitement that, oh, it's about to go down, and we're sitting down waiting. Or sometimes we might get a couple of sales that comes in and you think that it's going to continue. What if that doesn't continue? What do you do? So here's a situation where if that doesn't continue, you're pretty much out of business. If that continues, then your business continues to thrive. Now, in the worst case scenario, if that doesn't happen, if your business doesn't happen on the social media, on your website, and so on and so forth, how do you continue to stay in business? How do you keep your business in business? So that's number one, is sales. You have to make sure we find a way to have sales coming in. If sales doesn't happen online, we still have to go find that sales. The sales must happen. There's no excuses. Sales must happen for the business to stay in business. Step number 2, which is my favorite step. And this is the step that I took that kept me in business. And thankfully, I've been in business for 9 years. I kept my expenses very low. I did not go out there to rent any studio. I kind of transformed my living room into a creative art studio. This is my office. This is where the magic happened. This is my living room. So what I do is I create my work in my living room and then bring my work outside to the people. So step 2 is going outside. It's pretty much launching the business, starting the business, doing the IPO with the people outside in the streets. This is my favorite approach. There's streets everywhere, and there's outside everywhere, and there's people everywhere. You just got to find a sweet spot where you kind of fit in, and then you go over there slowly but surely. You can just go outside and, like I said, talk to certain people, get some information, look at what other people are doing, and so on and so forth, and slowly but surely start to get your feet wet. But you have to go outside if you want to stay in business. I did all of that. I have a website, I have my social medias and all of it. But going outside and talking to the people and selling to the people direct is what kept my business going, because there's no guarantee that sales is coming in online. There's no guarantee that somebody's on your social media is going to DM you with that order. What if that doesn't happen? Streets is your best option. If you're a beginner, if you're a creative person and you want to start your small business, I'm telling you, launch it with the streets. I'm not saying disregard social media on your website and so on. What I'm saying is don't spend crazy amount of money. Stop, don't go, don't splurge on your website and your social media and so on and so forth. That is not how the business work, by bringing in sales. Sales is actually one-on-one, going out there and talking to people and letting people see your product, introduce the product to the people, and slowly but surely you're going to see what's working and let them support you. And one product at a time, one brick at a time, you will build a business. You will stay in business. That is the most important. As long as you stay in business, other opportunities will come, right? Staying in business and being consistent, going out, people seeing you, it will bring other opportunities. Other people will step to you with other opportunities, and before you know it, you pivoting. You're going to pivot even from what you originally started, because the streets will kind of help you with the direction where to go with your business. So I am a fanatic, a huge die-hard fan for going outside, bringing your work outside, launching it with the streets, right? Yes. So go outside, bring your stuff. If you have a rack, you have a table, whatever it is that you're going to do, just bring your stuff outside and launch it with the people. Hey, just want to take a short break to invite you to check out my beautiful artwork, especially if you love giving a gift that's made with love to a family member, a friend, a loved one, or even to yourself. I just want you to know that I have hand-painted over 10,000 of these beautiful one-of-one limited hand-painted aprons from right here in my living room studio. These beautiful aprons are not just for cooking, painting, or creating. These amazing aprons are also a form of therapy, a transformational tool for survival, and a constant reminder to you that you are also a creator. This is a masterpiece of apron that you can actually live in. So this is not just a purchase, it is an investment in your own creativity. So I encourage you to hit the link below and grab your one-of-one limited hand-painted apron. Also, while on my website, I want to invite you to check out my canvas masterpieces. And let's get back to the show. Thank you. Peace. If I was you, I would actually say street before social media. I'll even say that. But it doesn't hurt to have both. But if you're ready to go, today, you can just pack up and hit the streets and just see how it goes. Even if you don't make sales on your first couple of days or whatever, people will step to you, they will talk to you, you have a feel like, oh, okay, people kind of like starting to pay attention, right? And that attention and that communication that you get, that start to give you a feel like, oh, this looked like it might work. And what the guy said, he wasn't carrying money, or he's not ready, he's not in the market to buy, but otherwise he would have bought it. So that means I'm doing something right. I am on the right direction. The streets will give you this for free. I'm telling you, this is nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun. This is an old playbook, right? Think about when, before the internet and all these other stuff, like the record labels and all these businesses, how did they create awareness, right? Like back in the days, record labels would send out a street team to hit the streets with posters and the flyers and the stickers and so on and so forth. Like, think about it, like, right? So this is how you create awareness. So it's the same way. Of course, the internet is an addition, it's an add-on, and it's an amazing thing. It is amazing. Some people that I know, it took off online. They never have to look back. No street for them. Me, it did not happen like that. The internet and my website did not take off. The street helped me stay in business, and slowly but surely, as I build and as I go, I'm pretty happy because I have a stable, consistent, right? Stable, consistent business that's just doing business. I have sales coming in consistently, and I'm staying in business. That matters to me way more than maybe going viral and get some sales, crazy sales, and then later on everything just slump, and I'm sitting here like, what am I gonna do next? So please bring your business to the streets and launch it with the streets. IPO it with the streets and start it with the streets. That's my number one recommendation. That's what I did. As a result, it has kept me in business for 9 years. I am still in the street, by the way. By the way, I still go out to the street to sell every weekend. For 9 years, consistently, I'm still doing it, and I'm still in business. So that is the playbook for me for how to stay in business. If your social media, your website, Etsy and all these other websites, people will tell you, put it on there and people will buy it. And It might happen if you do it and people buy, amazing, great. But if you trying everything is not happening, don't give up. I'm telling you, do not give up. Try the street. This is a one step that's, I guarantee you, the possibility of this helping you stay in business is very high because it did it for me. And the street will also help you learn how to sell, right? The street helps you learn how to sell because you talk to people, communicating. It helps you how to communicate as well, right? Actually, like the best way of learning how to sell is by selling to humans, right? If you really, really want to learn how to sell, is by actually selling to humans, right? Online, it's like you selling, but it's not really you selling online. You can, say, like you can say your spiel and all of that is cool, but when there's a human being standing in front of you and it's eye to eye, you're talking to that person, communicating, and they can feel your product and they can feel your voice and they can feel like they're talking to a person, a creative person. So you are the artist, you are the creator, you are the designer. Oh, wow, that's amazing. And they start asking you a personal question and you start answering. That's how sales happen. And I'm telling you, with just this short communication between you and the buyer, that will bring you sales one item at a time, one item at a time. You will be surprised. You will be surprised. Like sometimes I see in people's on YouTube and stuff, they say, oh, easy way to make $1,000 or easy way to make $500. I'm telling you, that's easy in the streets. That is so easy. Once you find your foot in the streets, that's easy. That's nothing. So that is my number one pick. All right, that is my number one pick. Because the street is practical. The street is practical and the street is faster. All right, it is faster. The street is faster. It's practical. Just don't give up. Just don't give up. And you can just do this. Just for me, I go out every weekend. Saturday, Sunday, those are my days for hitting the street and hustle. And the rest of the Monday through Friday, I do whatever. I haven't quit my day job. I still got my day job because doing art and selling out in the street, it doesn't stop me from having a job. And it's an extra money for me. So realistically, I'm good. Art is bringing me money on my website, on social media. My email list is good. I also hit the street every weekend to sell on top of that. And I also still kept my job. I still do a couple of shifts a week. So you just have to be a grinder. You just have to find a way to survive, to stay in business. Otherwise, you're just going to be part of the 80% of starving artists, or 80% of those, as they say, the broke artists or the struggling artists. You don't want to be a part of that. If you really don't want to be a part of that 80% of struggling and starving artists, or that trying to make it happen and it's not working, if you don't want to be part of that 80%, I'm telling you, use the streets as a segue to get in business, and use the street as a segue to stay in business, and use the street as a segue to survive and to surpass that 80%. And come on, jump over to that 20% and slowly work your way to that 15, 10, or even the 5% of the artists who are actually doing it. I've left that 80% that long time ago. Like I jumped out of that long time ago. I'm telling you, if you're a beginner, if you're an artist, a designer, creator, a maker, trying to get into a small business to start, and you have tried everything online, social media, you've done everything. You heard it all. You've watched so many YouTube videos. They told you do this and do that. The reason your audience and your this and your, I'm telling you, none of that matches one-on-one, person to person in the street. He's looking at you in your eyes, and you're looking at him eye to eye, asking you questions, and you are answering those questions because it's you, it's your experience, it's your creativity, and you did that. And I'm telling you, man, people appreciate that. Even if they are not in the market to buy, they buy just to support you. So going outside to push your business, to push your product, to push your merch is, to me, the best way to get started. To get started. Then when your business take off, when your business find its feet and moving, you can do all the other stuff to take it to the next level. But from the beginner level and from staying in business point of view, I highly recommend hitting the streets. Number 3, visibility. Now here's where I would say, yes, social media is amazing for that. Your website is amazing for that. Your product, your business, your merch, your creativity deserve to be seen. It deserves to be visible. So make it visible, right? Make it available. People should be able to see it. So you having your social media page going, making it look good and so on and so forth. Yes, you need that, and it has to be visible. You having your website design looking great and not spending crazy amount of money, because people will tell you when you do that, that's going to bring the sales. No, not doing that. Just keep it simple, keep it basic, but keep it simple, plain, and beautiful, and make it attractive as well, right? Straight to the point. When somebody get into your website, here's a product, they click on it, you take them to the checkout, place order, simple, done. Like, do it just like that. Nothing crazy. So that needs to happen over time, slowly but surely. Of course, you have to start with the street. If you ask me, you have to start with the streets. You have to start with the sales right away. The sales need to start coming in right away. And slowly but surely, you need to have your visibility on the website, on social media, and so on and so forth. Also, in the sense of visibility, you have to try to be as many places as you can. Just like I said, you have to be in the streets. Being in the streets buys you free visibility. Being in the street buys you free impressions. Like Facebook and Instagram, if you run ads, I do run ads every once in a while. You pay for impressions. Now in the street, impressions cost nothing. It's zero, zip. So you get so much impressions just for being in the street. Especially the model that I use is the weekends, because the weekends, everybody and their mom is out, right? A lot of people out, depending on where you are and what street you decide to try your hustle on. It's people outside, people out there in the street, right? And there's a lot of visibility, there's a lot of impression, there's a lot of awareness being created right there by you being in the street. So whatever street that you choose to go, that works. And also, sometimes there'll be, say, like a local museum or a local restaurant or local theaters. Sometimes they do like events and stuff like that, or the annual event, or maybe biannual events that they do. And most of the time they want to invite local creators, local artists, local. So you need to visit those places and ask about those programs, right? Visit your local museum, local gallery, local restaurant, and ask for those programs. If they have any of those programs coming up, then you can show up and do a pop-up. By you showing up, you are being visible. You showing yourself to their audiences, right? They already sent out the emails to invite these audiences to come in. And by you going there, now you are being introduced to those audience, and that's free. So that is also something that you have to look into if you start in a business. For instance, I didn't even think about that because I didn't even have this information. I was in the street selling, and a local museum approached me. I think they were just passing by, and one of the staff saw me, and she approached me. This is a Schomburg Museum in Harlem, here in New York, on 135th Street. But I'm on 125th. And they were passing by. They saw me, they stopped, they talked to me. It was like, oh, we love what you're doing. This is great. We have these events that we do, and it's coming up, and we're looking for creators to. And I was like, is there any money? Because I don't want to do stuff that I have to pay money for. I'm just a small business, I don't want to, splurge and ended up going out of business. I want to stay in business. She said, it's free, especially if you are a creator. We want creators to come in. So I said, all right, put me down. And they put me down. When the date came, I went to the Schomburg Museum, and they already have the marketplace, like, they have a shop in there that the audience, the visitors come in and they shop. So they give us a nice setup, and we were in there and I set up, and they sent out an email. It's a museum, so they have a lot of audience, that. They all came in, and now they all mesmerized by all these different creators, and we were in there, and they're just buying, and whatever money that you make is free. So these are some of the things that I'm telling you should be doing in order to stay in business, right? You have to not just posting on social media and putting your stuff online and just waiting for sales, waiting for the sales to happen. Is you have to take that initial step. Like, go to your local restaurant that has a lot of buzz and ask them if they do some kind of like a pop-ups for like the local creatives and stuff like that. And they might say, oh yeah, every once in a while we invite local creators and to come and do like a market type stuff, right? Join in. Usually they do it for the community. It's free. Local museum, yes, join in. Gallery, theaters, join in. And those are some of the things you can also do to gain more visibility, right? Because it has worked for me. When I did that Schomburg Museum on 135th in Harlem, while we were doing it, somebody also approached me and said, oh, there's going to be another one at a children's museum at Sugar Hill in Harlem as well. And they gave me a date, and I was invited also for free. And I went there, and it's like a children's museum, but a lot of parents came in, and they also bought a lot of stuff. And you just, you don't have to pay nothing. It's all free. So there's a lot of these programs that happens around your way that you're probably not aware of. You just have to ask, right? So move around, or leave the house. Just go outside and go talk to people and get some information. All about staying in business, keeping your business in business, and getting sales, right? So that's what I'm talking about. Number 4. Let's talk about a mistake that killed small business. If you're a creative person and you're just starting your small business, you have to be aware that certain mistakes can happen that you can fix quick, and certain mistakes, if you're not aware of them, they can just wipe you out. So let's focus on those business mistakes that can kill your business. One of those mistakes for me is sticking only with social media. You just stuck. My business is lunch. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn. So I'm in business. No matter what happened, that business has to work from that angle. If the business doesn't work from that angle, and that means you are stuck. That is a mistake that a lot of small businesses do, and that will kill your business. Sticking only with social media, thinking that the business has to happen that way, is definitely not a way to go. So be aware of just being so comfortable and saying that this is social media. Oh, I already did it. I'm on there. I'm on Etsy. I'm on here. I'm on this site. I'm on that. I put it all over, and you're just waiting for the sales to happen. It doesn't happen like that. It can happen, and if it happens, good, and that's amazing for you. But what if that doesn't happen, right? If that doesn't happen, then remember to pivot to the streets, and that will keep your business going. All right. And also, another mistake that can also kill your business is hiding behind perfection. You're so perfectionist. You want everything to be so perfect, so perfect, so perfect. You keep refining it. You keep refining it. You keep refining it, and it's never enough. Realistically, sometimes when it comes to product, you You are not the one to decide when that product is ready. It's the customers. So my style of creating is called imperfect ideation. You know, I'm a king of ideation. So bring it out. At whatever level you are, just bring it out. Let the people see, let them touch it, let them feel it. If they start buying it and they're giving you some kind of feedback, you can take that and start, you know, refining it and making it better as you go. But start it messy, start it raw and rough with the people, with the streets, and let them tell you, oh, we want it this way, we want it that way, and then grow and fix as you grow. And that will be number 2. Please do not hide behind perfection, all right? Do not hold on to it. Oh, it's not ready, I want it to be this. There's no such thing. You are not the customer. You are not the customer who's buying it. Let the customer tell you what is perfect and what is not, right? So, especially when you were beginning and you need sales to stay in business. That's not, you know, that's not your thing, right? And also, not overthinking. Like you know, it's part of it, but it's necessarily not really a part of it. You know, sometimes you just take this word like, oh, marketing, and you just market it. Yeah, I need to find a way to market it. And you, like, marketing is being in the streets. when you outside in the street hustling, that's marketing. So it's like marketing, and it's like, no, like, let me, look. When I was in school, I was taught my ideal customer in a certain bracket, like in a certain box. I was thought, oh, this is your ideal customer, and all the way they broke it down to me, this is his profile, right? This is his profile, and he does this, and he make this, and this. They broke all this stuff down. Realistically, when I hit the street, none of that matters. That did not matter. It did not happen. I didn't see that. I'm like, where they at? All the stuff they was telling me, all the, it doesn't, in the real world, and realistically, those things goes out the window. It goes out of the window. So being out in the street, you will pick your audience. Like people trying to tell you, or find your audience first. Yeah, you can have that audience in mind. Especially with our businesses, like we creative artists that want to make tangible product, and if you're making a digital product, that's a different thing. You can have that ideal, you know, audience in mind and slowly build for them. But we're talking about tangibility. We're talking about a product that people can actually grab and feel and take it home with them. Being in the street is easy to find that audience, because when that person buy, that's your man, that's your peoples. That's the person that you need to collect his phone number, his email address, and that's your audience number 1. The second person that buy, that's your audience number 2. You collect his email address or his phone number, whatever that is. Make sure he gives you a follow on Instagram, and so now you know that you actually have a real followers who actually buy. When you collect that email, you know that you have somebody on your email list who's actually a customer who actually buy. That's what I do now. To be realistically honest with you, 9 years ago, I was so focused on keeping the business in business and making sure that my business survived. So I did not collect email addresses. I was actually more of a chasing Instagram following. Like, oh, can you follow me on Instagram? But not everyone, a lot of people, I'm not really on social media. To tell you that I'm not really a social media guy, but they all have email addresses. So if I would have focused more on the email addresses, my email address would have been like this. But you know, a lot of adults not really interested in the social media stuff like that, and they might be on it, but they don't even use it. So when you're doing certain promos, it doesn't get to them. And also, plus, Instagram and stuff only show like what they say 5 to 10% or something like that to your followers. So it's very complicated. When you're in the street, you don't have that kind of problem. Yes, email might have its own thing too, and email is not perfect. And now that I've been doing email, and I know, okay, nothing is perfect like the streets. Because email, when you send out an email, some might end up in a spam, some might end up in the junk, some might not open it. right? And because that's what when you send out an email, it's like the open rate is like 42%. My open rate right now is like 38 to 42%, and then the click rate, and that's a whole different thing. So if you send out an email, you are not getting 100%. Whatever, you're not getting 100%. So nothing is perfect here, but of course you take whatever you can get. But what I'm saying is, when you're in the streets, you get it all. It's 100%. People that's passing by, you see them. People that talk to you, is them. And if they purchase directly from you. So you need that, and take a little bit that you can get from your Instagram, your email, your website, and every little bit count, right? And then they all add up. They all add up, right? So that way, you know that you're more likely to stay in business. You're more likely to stay in business as long as you combine it with the street. If your social media and your website is working and you don't need the street, then you don't need the streets. But if you're about to start, or you've already started and you're struggling with it, you have to give the streets a try, all right? And also, do not sit down and wait for an endorsement. Do not sit down, if you're an artist, do not sit down and wait for some guy to come and put your hands around your neck like, yo, we got you, we're about to do some exhibitions, and I want you to be a part of it. And like, don't wait for oh, we want you to be a part of it moment. Do not wait for that. Like, you have to go out there and go find a way to go get it. Do not wait to be a part of it. Don't wait for no one to come out here and pick you up. No one is here to save you. So if you're an artist and you have a bunch of work saved up, right? You have a bunch of masterpieces sitting, and you're waiting for someone to come and get you. That can result in a disaster. So find a way to go out, right? Find a way to go out and go direct to the people, and not just posting it on the social media and sitting back and waiting for it to happen. Like, you have to find a way to go out there and do it. You have to go to the people, right? Go to the people. And my recommendation is always, if you are a creative artist, a designer, whatever, always, as far as the street is concerned, and as far as starting a business is concerned, always start with minimum viable product. A small pieces of items that you can sell. You can sell quick, just to have sales coming in, just for you to stay in business, right? So that's what I always recommend. If you have a bunch of canvases, bringing canvases outside, that might not be ideal way for you to hit the streets, right? Find a way to turn some of your creatives into, like, maybe your t-shirts, a tote bags, a hat, prints, buttons, and you just have to walk the street and find out what is going on. And being the fact that you're an artist, that's where you come in. Create that different, right? Be that unique. And then you show up. So you can at least ask for a little bit more money than what the average is out there doing, right? Because there's nothing new under the sun. If you want to sell a hat, there's a bunch of hats over there. You go downtown, out there for $5. But if you're an artist and you artistically come up with something unique and something interesting, somebody might give you $50 for it. Meanwhile, somebody else got it downtown for $5 because yours is artistically created. So that's the difference. So you have to really approach it like that, right? So be informed as far as all the information that I'm giving you with not waiting for no one to come and save you. You have to go out there and go do it. Otherwise, your business might struggle, right? I have a short story for you. I did a commercial for Pepsi. I did an ad for Pepsi. So same way, being in the streets, Pepsi approached me, and then long story short, I did a 1-minute ad for them. They paid me money for it. While I was in Long Island City, Long Island City, we was out there shooting and doing the stuff. I met a buddy. He became a friend later on. He's a content creator. Combine his his Instagram and his TikTok, he got 3 million followers. 3 million followers. So that's how they picked him. When they picked me, my Instagram followers was less than 2,500. My Instagram followers was less than 2,500 when I got picked. He got picked because he got 3 million followers, and I got picked because I got 2,500 followers. But they picked me because of my art, because they like what they see. They like the abstraction and the ideation style and everything that I have going. So they didn't even mind my following. They just want me in place. So they came to my studio right here. We shot some Long Island, and they also came to my studio here. And they want to see me. They recorded me in the process of working and painting and creating and so on and so forth. That colorful, that vibe, that feel is what they want. And they want to show that in the Pepsi ad. So that's what the deal is. So this friend of mine, we later on, after the Pepsi ad, we later on met and we have a conversation. And he told me he got 3 million followers, but he's not able to make a sale. Like he's not able to make money out of it. And so I was saying, wow, I don't see how you have 3 million followers and not to say that, but like I said, you should not be broke when you have 3 million followers. He said, yeah, that's what my cousin is telling me. I said, yeah, but and I said, so what are you doing? He said he's trying to create a product and so on and so forth. And I said, well, I mean, this is my advice. I gave him my advice, and I also added the streets twist to it. And I said, look, you have a lot of following. You can create this whole thing where you can invite people out and do a pop-up in the streets and then launch it that way, right? So every once in a while you can ask people to come out because it's more fun like that. When they come out and they see other people buying, they're more likely to buy because they see everybody else buying. He said, yes, yeah, that's a good idea. So I said, just try that. And if you want me to be a part of it, I would be a part of it. I will come over. I'll probably bring some of my stuff and we could just make it more fun and more funkier and make it more fun. He said, sure. But later on, he changed his mind and did with other people. And they said, no, let's go get stuff done, get some T-shirts printed and then push it to the people. So they did it the other way. And the other way is getting the stuff done and just post it up and then letting your community, your audience know that, yo, I got this, and they did that and it failed and it didn't work. But he got 3 million followers. He wasn't able to sell T-shirts. But I've been selling T-shirts for 9 years and many more. Not just T-shirts, I've been selling aprons, T-shirts, hoodies, jackets. I've been selling pretty much anything that I want to sell, I can sell right now. And out of doing that, people ask me, what do you do? I say, yo, I got a canvas. I said, absolutely, here, go check it out. I'll send you some pictures. And in the midst of that, I found my canvas customers while I'm doing what I'm doing. So this is the model that personally that has worked for me, right? Selling the low price items in the streets, getting to know people, collecting emails, getting following, getting this, doing that, and by doing that, people ask you, what do you do? Or I tell people, I also do this, I also do that. So I'm marketing myself that way, and people finding out, I also have canvases and so on and so forth. And then they reach out and I show them what I have, and then one thing led to another. Before you know it, a sale is made, canvas is sold. So in a situation like that, that's my model. But to just have a bunch of canvases in the studio, AKA in my living room, in my house, and just because they on my social media and they're on my website and I'm sitting here waiting for something to happen, it's really not going to happen. But I'll tell you one good thing that came out with my friend that we shot the Pepsi ad together. And he's looking at me, he's like, yo, so you only have, this is the only followers? I said, yeah, this is the only, he said, why? So they picked me with 3 million, they picked you with 2,500 followers, and they paid us the same. But yet, and he said, yo, you should get your following up a little bit. He said, yo, I'm gonna push you and I'm gonna tell my community about you, that you're such an amazing artist, And he did. When he posted me, my following went from 2,500 to like 3,500 real quick in a matter of like a week, right? So he gave me like extra 1,000 followers. But my point is that following did not result in sales. It did not result in like sales. Like if I hit the streets, I'm able to get my sales. Whereby if I get following, I'm not sure if that will result in sales. So I always have a friend that I always have like a challenge with, and I tell him, I say, look, if I give you 10 t-shirts and I hold on to 10 t-shirts and I say, you go post it on your social media and your website and try to sell it. And I'm gonna take mine to the street on the weekend. And let's, just as a challenge, let's see who's going to sell those 10 t-shirts, who's going to be the first one to sell out those 10 t-shirts. And I always tell them, I know for a fact, 100% I'm going to win. And not because I've been doing it for 9 years, and of course, and that experience also matters. But I'm just saying that, I say I'm going to win because the street is just direct. It's much easier. People will talk to you. When you just post it online, you might get a lot of comments and you might get some sales, but I believe the street is faster. So it is a challenge that I believe, especially when you're a beginner. Now, when you surpass certain numbers and when you up there, yeah, social media wins faster. It wins all the time. And your website, one post, you get a bunch of sales. But when you don't have that much of a followers, you just getting started. You scrambling somewhere between 300 to 500 followers, 1,200 followers, and it's hard. It's hard for you to get those sales consistently. Even if you launch and it sell and people buy it and it's gone. And then next month you say, yo, I got another lunch coming in. They might not, I bought last month, let me chill out. But in the streets, the chances of you always finding a new person who's just walking by, he never met before, is always high. So that's how you can continue to pile up on your audience, your email list, your sales, and so on and so forth. So that's my story for you. Step number 5, this is the last one. All I got to tell you is just go outside. I mean, there's nothing else to say. Just go outside, right? Go outside, go get your first sales. Go get that first sale, and it's very addictive. Once you go out there and you get that first customer and they buy, once they buy, and you go again and you get that second customer and that third customer, I'm telling you, man, you cannot stop. But you have to be very disciplined. You have to be very dedicated, right? You have to be your mindset has to be on point. You have to be focused. You cannot, because if you really, really want to stay in business, then this is for you. If you really, really want to stay in business, you cannot sleep on these practical, hands-on information that I am giving you. This is my story. This is how I stayed in business. I don't know how other people did it, but for 9 years, this practical, get your hands dirty, get your feet wet, talk to the people, bringing it to the people has kept me in business for 9 years. And as a result, I've been able to sell other things besides what I sell in the street. And I've been able to get commissions and do other stuff outside of that, because being out there, I get to be seen. People get to ask you, what is it you do? And so on and so forth. I did business with Pepsi. I've done business with MasterCard, done business with HBO, Facebook, Uber. I've been in Forbes magazine. I've been in Bon Appetit magazine, right? Food and Wine magazine. I got my stuff. Oprah got my stuff. Stephen Colbert got my stuff. What's her name? Rachel Roy got my stuff. It's all just start by just going to the people, being seen. I wasn't. None of this discovery came from online. Nobody sent me a DM. Nobody sent me a DM. I think the only DM, something that I can say that came from a DM was a art supply, chain store. I'm not gonna say the name. They reach out to me for something, but that's about it. That's about it. But as far as all these other businesses, all these other brands came by me just being in front of the people, direct to the people, and just grinding and then hustling and just focusing on sales, because sales keep business in business, right? So that's all I got to say to you. Just go outside. Just go outside and go launch your pop-ups, right? Focus on free pop-ups. Focus on anything that's free. If there's a street fair coming up, right? In a lot of communities, like on the 18th Street downtown in New York, they used to invite me every year. Like there's a street fair and a bunch of artists and creators and whatever, and we all go over there. It's free, so I would show up there and go there from like 10 to 5 p.m. Go hustle, and then from there I carry my stuff back uptown to Harlem on 125th Street and post up over there and sell again. Like never stop. Determination, discipline, dedication, and just focus. The mindset is we need sales to keep the business in business. And this is the game plan, like how to keep business in business, right? Focus on anything that's free, especially when you just getting started. If they say, oh, we have an event coming up, but you have to pay for the table, and paying for the table is like $25 or $50, yeah, you can afford to do that. If they want to hit you with like $350, $400, nah, you just getting started. You don't have that kind of money, right? You don't have that kind. You're a small business. You're a small creative person. Your goal is to be super, super resourceful. Talking about resourceful, I got a short story for you real quick. I was in an art supply store. I wasn't just rushing or just buying my colors. I was just dropping them in my basket. So lady turned around, she was also buying her stuff. She turned around, she saw me, she saw that I bought an orange color, and she asked me, like, you buying the orange? She was actually kind of like nosy, but I liked it in the end. She was looking into my stuff. She's like, you buying orange? I said, yeah. She was like, why? I said, I need it. She was like, you can mix that. Why are you buying it? No. She said, I told you an artist, you can mix that. Why are you buying that? No, you should put that back. And I said, you know what? You were right. I was just in a rush. I was just in my own head, just buying it. Like, I don't. But she was like, yo, it only take seconds, like mix it. It's mixed. It's done. You have your orange. Why pay extra for it? And she just put me on game. And it's not like that. I don't know. It's most of these things we know. We just don't do. So I put that orange back. When I came back here in the studio, I mixed my own orange. Right? So it's one of those things. It is one of those things that we know what we have to do. We just don't do. Sometimes we're just lazy. We know that maybe going out to the street will help our business stay in business, but we're probably just not going to do it. Right? So keep your expenditure very low when it comes to doing shows of street fairs or anything that you can smell. It can smell a little fishy, like somebody just trying to. People will come to you like, yo, so I organize pop-ups and I do events. They don't even have audience. They will just say those kind of things, and then those are the ones that ask for a lot more money. They ask you for $500 for table, or $400 or $350. Yeah, we got everything for you, and then you go over there and you set up and you're sitting there and there's nobody showing up. Like, where's the customers? Where are the buyers? Nobody's showing up, but they already got the money. So you starting, you want to focus on free. Street fair, there's sometimes the city organized street fairs or the community organized some street fairs for creative and artists to come out. You want to be there. If there's a local museum, local gallery, local theater, those kind of things, local restaurant, you want to be there. Join in. Always move around and ask for those kind of information and then join in. If there's a concert happening somewhere at the park, sometimes the cities, they promote these concerts, the free concert and so on and so forth. If it's convenient for you to be there and hustle, be there and hustle. Why not? Like, those kind of things is what, as artists, we need to be resourceful, look into those things and use them to stay in business. But my last one for you, my last PS extra advice on top of that is, do not, you are an artist, you are a designer, you are a creator, you are a maker. Do not create a Me Too product. Do not create another Me Too product just like anybody else, just like what's out in the street. Look, there's a lot of people out in the street hustling, selling anything. Those people are more, they are more of a hustlers, grinders, better sellers than us. We just creators, and we just artists and designers and whatever. Those guys are naturally, they sellers, they know how to sell. So they can go get anything and then they will hit the street and they will sell. You cannot compete with those people, you will lose. So do not go get that same stuff these people get and hit the street and say you're going out there to sell. No, do not sell Me Too. Me Too is not for creators. Me Too is not for artists. Me Too is not for designers and makers. Me Too is for those guys. For you as a creator, you have to create something unique, different, right? Something unique, different, something artistic. That's what you're presenting. So while they're charging $5 for what they're selling, you can charge $40, $50, $30 for what you're selling, because it is artistic, it is different, it is unique. That's how we win, right? I have a guy that I'm gonna tell you, if you can, you can look him up. His name is James Victori, right? James, that's James, Victori as Victore, Victori. Now, I never met the guy in person. My professor, I was at SVA, School of Visual Art, doing color theory. And my professor put me on to James Victori. What my professor was saying, he said, look, you want to be different. When you leave the school and hit the streets, you want to be different. You don't want to go out there and just go present Me Too. And he said, look into James Victori's work. His work is like, it's like this in your face brush strokes. And it's like, all he's giving you is just me, it's just him, it's just present, it's like over dramatic him, over dramatic brushstroke, and this work. At first, when it hits you, you might not understand it. You'd be like, what is? But then it started to make sense. Like, wow, it makes sense because that separates him from everybody else. That separates him from what everybody is doing. That makes him just him. So you want to think from that angle. I'm not saying you should do what James Victori is doing, but I want you to go look him up, right? James Victori, he was, I think he is retired now, but he also was teaching at SVA. My professor, Richard Mell, he actually got a book called Playing with Colors. And this is the guy that changed my perspective on color theory and how I see color. He was telling me, like, this guy, not because this guy played with colors in so many ways, but he just understands how to be unique, how to be different, how to stand here, not with the crowd. So once you get to understand him and once you get to, right, step to his work, wherever you see him, you know that's him. And that uniqueness is what he's been selling, and that's what his business is, and that's what his creative art is. That's what his whole shebang is. So look him up, and just so you have an idea, like, oh, you have to be different. It's not gonna, because my push to you is hit the streets, hustle with the street, grind from the streets, and build it up. In order to do that, you have to be different. You cannot present Me Too to the street, because there's nothing but a bunch of Me Too's out there. If you want to succeed, there's no Me Too's allowed. So in that sense, I'm telling you to take a look at James Victori and look at how his stuff is like, I don't understand. But that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what sets you apart from the Me Too's, right? So just look into that. Just look into that. And I thank you for being here. Hopefully, you know, you will do all those things that I'm telling you to do, and hopefully something great will come out of it. Okay. See you in the next one. Salute.